scheduled time of Saturday. Praise and power. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I'm just gonna get us. Y'all know I'm always complaining that I cannot see what all the ops are gonna be initially. So bear with me when I get things straight. But welcome to another moment of harmony. We are here. We are in meiotic moments. And I'm sorry too. I always forget this. My all my paperwork from work, all my folders and files, I just forget to move them at the beginning because I don't think about it until I start moving. So forgive, forgive, forgive. But okay, I'm back because I gotta, all the theatrics, they gotta come in today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Praise and power. I am so happy and excited to have us all here. What a week. What a couple of weeks. What a time to be in my yacht, right? What a time to be in balance. What a time to have centeredness within self. Okay? I mean, for all of the stress, all of the anxiety, all of the worry, all of the sitting on the edge of our seats, I'm pretty sure we're all just exhausted with the times. And to add on top of that, holiday season is amongst us, so it's about to get real. For anyone who's been feeling pressure, the pressure is about to come on even more. And then we're talking about the countdown to the new year. It is just a time. Okay, it is a time that normally puts us in a place and puts us in a mindset. And I'm happy that we're all here gathered today so that we together can navigate through whatever the energy is right now with you, right now with us, and move us closer to where we want to be, which is peace. We all want to have peace within self. We all want to be centered within self. We all want to have greatness, okay? In a moment of harmony, currently we are in a series entitled Meiotic Moments. We are going through the 42 laws of Mayat, and we are at law number 23 today. We have been moving through. So for 42 weeks, we are here in my yacht, centered in it, moving through it, actualizing tools and assets to getting to where we have to go. Good morning, peace, peace, peace. So good to see you. Hey, Mr. Carter. So yes, blessings. We are actualizing that space and time. So we have been using or navigating and utilizing the principles, utilizing the laws in a way to be able to be more centered and to be more reflective on self, to be able to look accurately at who we are, how we are, and to be able to grow into those versions of ourselves that we are diligently working towards, and also to be able to appreciate who we are right now and how far we've come. And again, this climate can make us forget, it can make us lose sight, it can make us focus on all the craziness, and again, the pressure. So I hope that we are a pressure relief valve today under a moment of harmony, that we are sent and we are gathered around like-mindedness, like energy, and are light in general, to a point that when we walk up out of this space, we know that we're walking out in grace. We know that we're walking out covered. We know that we're walking out complete. And we are going to be more well within self, more focused on self, and more bound for greatness. Okay? So that's what we're working and moving towards today. Welcome, welcome, welcome again to another moment of harmony. Our law that we are focused on today is I have not terrorized anyone. I have not terrorized anyone. I am excited about this type of a law. I am excited about coming up under this just having this moment, because I feel like when we talk about pressure, we can't get into pressure. We can't talk about fear mongering or terrorizing or just really manipulating emotions and manipulating individuals. I want us to 1,000. I'm sorry. Wisdom. The big one is home. One of the big ones are home for the weekend, and he is loud all night, all day. My have mercy. I'm streaming live, everyone, just so you know I can hear everything. Hopefully y'all couldn't hear that. Yep, can you close that? Thank you so much. Okay. Mommy Mercy. That thing goes all the way past adulthood. Okay? That Mommy Mercy is long and live. Okay. I have not terrorized anyone. Okay, so before we get into the beaten and potatoes of the moment today, I do want to start out with the energy like I spoke of as we started out today, for my astro heads out there, everyone's not an astro head. Bear with me for a second, okay? We had a full moon in October the 17th, and that energy was like a rocket jacket energy. Okay, that joint was off the chain because it was a super moon, it was a harvest moon for all of those that are into all that. But for all of you that are not in even none of it, here is the thing: energy is energy, and energy is real. And I just wanted to take a couple of seconds out for all of those that have been feeling major shifts emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, economically, academically. I mean, just all areas of life, you have been feeling major shifts. They have either been creating extreme doubt, extreme frustration, extreme stagnation, or they have been creating extreme transformation, which can bring negative and positive. Okay, you are feeling more hopeful, you're feeling moving forward, or just the pressure before the diamond comes about is like the season. Okay, I want everyone to know that you are valuable, you are loved. Let's woosah together. We are going to get through every single day of this season, one day at a time, and we're going to be just fine. Okay? We're going to get through every single day, one moment at a time. Let's add that part. One moment at a time, and we're going to be just fine. In case no one has told you today, in case no one has told you this week, and you might not hear it until you get it in a holiday card. Hey, everything is going to be okay. Everything is working out for your greatness. Everything is working towards your favor. If you are a good person in a good place, good things are coming your way. Trust. No matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like, it's all going to be working out. But I wanted to just address that energy because, whoo, the intensity, right? It's been intense. But the greater the shake, the greater the move, the greater the transformation. And so I'm excited for your transformation. I want you to stick and hang in there the entire time. You will be more than fine. You will be more than fine. Trust. You can watch this on the way back. Ashe, listen, you know what I'm saying? It's very much so, Mr. Carter, very much so, man. You're going to watch this on the way back and you're going to say, you know what? I didn't know if I was going to come up out of that and how all of that was going to come about and why I just can't get people, the pressure above me. And you're going to look back and you're going to be saying, hey, one moment at a time and I'm just fine. One moment at a time and we're all going to be just fine. Breathe in, breathe out. You are loved, you are valued. And guess what? You're here. Not only are you here in your beautiful space, in your beautiful skin, you're here in a time and place of life where it is abundant and created just for you. And you're here at a moment of harmony. So welcome and very much thank you for being here. So let's go on and get into this. I have not terrorized anyone because this is probably going to help us through some of the upcoming moments that we're going to need to work on through. So I have not terrorized anyone. We know that as our ancestors set these laws in place with the 42 laws of Mayan, that as these things were set into place, and I give the disclaimer, whatever walk of life you're walking on, I'm walking with you in love, light, and liberation. If you are in any way walking in any of those modes or all of them all together, you are walking with me and there is no judgment, there is no coercion, there is only unity, and there is only us growing and being greater and better together. That's the goal, that's the energy, that's the spirit of the moment. Okay? Okay, so I have not terrorized anyone. When we talk about terrorizing, when we talk about things being terroristic, or we think about things or someone being a terror, we're talking about creating and sustaining, this is Webster now, creating and sustaining fear and distress. Creating or sustaining fear and distress. This is when we're talking about just like the Webster dictionary of terror, terrorizing. You are wanting to invoke, you are wanting to create, you are wanting to in some way ignite fear, stress, and chaos, whether it is in your own personal life, whether it is in the lives of others, or both. And I'm going to tell you realistically, there's nothing you're going to do as above, so below. There's nothing that you'll do in your physical that's not happening in the spiritual. And there's nothing energetically you can do or handle within self that is not energetically projected onto someone else. This is why it is such a wonderful, wonderful idea to be in our best states of being, our best states of mind, and our best places of operation as much as we possibly can, and as far into it as we can get from day to day, because you're not hiding anything, boo-boo. You're not keeping anything to yourself. You're not protecting anything from anyone. I promise you, you're projecting even if you are not trying. So it is, let's just heal for real. You know what I'm saying? Let's just get well for real. Let's not pretend to be well. Let's not wish to be well. Well, let's not only work to be well, but let's get there. Let's get there in the stages that we need to, in the levels that we need to. Let's be in them and let's move through them, because not only will our lives be more whole and our characters be less flawed, but our beingness, our becoming will be so much more divine, so much more powerful and illuminated, and we will reach the levels of self that are necessary. The whole point that we're here, we always talk about it. The point of the process of life is to level up into the supreme beingness of self, to be the reflection and become more of a reflection of the divine. That is your highest level of self. That's the whole point. You're here to actualize your highest level. Some people are repeating the game, whatever you believe in. They're repeating it. They're staying back in class. They're going to coach classes because they are not graduating to the higher level of self. That's what we're here to do. As we continue to grow, as we continue to go, as we continue to glow, we will continue to bring in all versions of ourselves that we were created for. Not the ones that we settled for, not the ones that we're struggling in, not even the ones we're trying so desperately to grow out of, but the level of self you were created for is available to you as you become available to you. Okay, so that is what we are here at a Moment of Harmony doing. We are taking all measures of life, all measures of actual realization, all measures of what it is and matters that we can use and methods that we can create to get where we need to be and to be happy where we are. Okay, at the same time, at the same dang time. Okay, so I have not terrorized anyone. If you are terrorizing someone's life, if you are being a terror in your own life, if you are creating chaos within any area of being for someone's mind, body, heart, soul, spirit, your own, your children, your co-workers, your spouse, your mates, your future self, if you are creating chaos, you are operating in terror and you are terrorizing. And our ancestors are saying, we're not going to do that for the improvement of our character, for the best state of being. We won't be like that. So I have not terrorized. I have not created or maintained fear and distress. And it's very important that we get that core of what it is we're talking about, because many of us, like I always say, will let the law go right over our head. We'll let this moment of Mayat just move straight past our beingness. Because here's the thing, we will say, I am not a terror. I don't go around here creating chaos for no reason. I don't terrorize people. I don't create and I'm not antagonistic. Okay, I am not the protagonist in most of these situations. But I would like us to get back to the basic. Are we creating or sustaining fear or distress? Sometimes it comes down to just that simple component of the law for you to be able to look at yourself, reflect in your life, and check your own self. Check your own self. I'm not here to check you. I'm not your God. I'm not your creator. I don't reign supreme over you. I am supreme over self. I am only the creatress of my life and my experience under the divine and in reflection of the divine for myself. But I didn't come to check you. I came here to give you the tools to reflect on your own life, or not even give you. Share tools. Share the tools. Share the light. Are you creating fear and distress, or fear or distress? Because sometimes we feel like I'm not stressing nobody out, but we are fear mongering, right? We are projecting fear. We are trying to control others because of our levels of fear. We're going to get into all of that today. Are you creating and maintaining fear? If you are, if someone has doubt in themselves because they've exchanged with you, if someone is less than what they could be because they've exchanged with you, if someone have given up hope on life and love and greatness and you have diminished their joy, you are a terrorist. You are a spiritual terrorists. And I want us to be able to move all of that to out of ourselves, move ourselves away from such low vibration and such low operation. We will not be spiritual terrorists any longer. We will not allow spiritual terrorists in our circle, in our lives, in our spirit, and in our light any longer. Today is the last day, okay, for all of that, because we're meeting here, we're gathering more than a few in order to touch and agree that this is not us. This is not in Giagetu. It's not our way. This is not of us, and we will not operate in such low vibration. Now, why do we operate in these low vibrations? Why are we often stuck in places like this? Why is the spiritual terror on 100? The first thing is that we live in terror territory. Now, we could say terrible, we could say terrorist, terrorizing, but I'm going to say terror territory. Here in this society, I would like to limit it to the United States of America, but that's not even realistic. I'm talking about the times. It is greatly, okay, about the societal time, about the climate of where we're in. But I'm going to say that globally, nationally, the lack of morality, the increase of war and egregiousness against one another, the pain and the atrocities that we are invoking or implementing or putting on one another in droves, create a climb of terror. I am a person of African descent, as those that have come to be brought to this country, those that have been brought to this country that are my ancestors that were here eons before me, many, many lifetimes before me, that had to create rights, that had to create life, that came here, many of them as cattle and chattel slavery, that came here many times as enslaved Africans. We're talking about times of terror. We're talking about traditions of terror. We're talking about foundations of terror. Those that are of Native American descent, those that were and maybe didn't have to deal with the kidnapping, but they had to deal with the robbery, the brutalization. We're talking about a a climate built on criminality. This is the climate of our forefathers, the climate of our ancestors, the climate of all that put in place where we stand today. Much of this this place is built on criminality and cruelty. So you're talking about times of terror that built the place you stand on, times of terror that built the place that we're in. We all are right now on the precipice. We're on the brink of a new president, 47th president for the deciding of the president. It's the 47th, like we're at the 47th, yeah. Excuse me. We are days away, actually, from the election results and being able to see what moves forward. But as we all have been tuning in to debates and interviews and conversations and panels, we see the fear. We see a place built on competition. We see a place built on craziness. We see a place built on what is it? Just you versus me, us versus them, pain, pressure, chaos, right? And as we know that these things are built on this place that we've arrived at today, a climate of criminality, we have to keep in mind that we are living within territory, terror territory. We're living within times that have us make decisions based on our fear, based on our declining health, a place that profits off of crime. right? Judges and funeral homes and lawyers and attorneys. And I mean, we just have a place that profits off of destruction and pain, a place that profits off of the underdog in order for others to stay on top, right? Just really painting a picture, right? Not to get all super political with the moment, but painting a picture clearly for us to see of the climb of criminality and cruelty that has built the foundation that we stand on, the immorality that we've come to see ourselves in, that we've been raised in, that we raise our families in, that we continue to grow and try to find a way and be a light within so much darkness. So when we talk about creating and maintaining fear, I'm not talking about something that we just grab out of the sky. I'm not talking about something that just comes to us. You know, we just wake up and we make decisions about, are we going to be egregious? Are we going to be fearful or invoking fear or provoking fear? Are we going to be these people? Are we going to keep distressing ourselves and our lives? And are we going to keep distressing others? Are we going to keep moving in disease and disorder? This is not always something we even see as a choice so much as we see as operation. Because again, because of the times, because of the terror of the times that have created where we are. So for those of us that get quick to say, I am not a terrorizer. I would never terrorize someone. I would never be involved in such energy. Quick to think that the places that we are going to be going to that are not going to require us to be cognizant of this law, to be right and well within this law and standing strong within the appropriateness of this law. I want you to understand the bed that we lay in that we did not make. Okay, and like they say, make if you make the bed, you made your bed, now you have to lie in it. Well, we are also talking about continuity, we're talking about energy, we're talking about life, we're talking about history. When we talk about climate, there is no right now without the holistic connectiveness of yesterday and tomorrow. This is how energy works, this is how spirit works. We don't like to point to the fact that life operates in this way, but guess what? It does. So we cannot be in this place without fully getting a picture of like how easy it is to wake up in the reality of the times or to have continuity of the times before and be connected to all of the craziness and all of the climate, and easy to forget whether or not you are in fact contributing to the terror of the territory you are in, that you were born and bred in, the territory that has trained you again, taught you again, gave you their morals for your own, taught you how to be for your own, that we were all in homes that shared personal beliefs on spirituality, personal beliefs on behavior and religion, and we still walked into a world that was vastly contrast to what it is we were taught behind the closed doors and in the confines of love when we walked into the world that was not reinforced in such a way, and we had conflictual decisions to make about how we would treat others and how we would show up. And that has begun to stay with us into this time, to the point where the laws of Ma'at continue to sit with us in such a way that we have to stop and say, I will not terrorize anyone today. And then rest our head in the evening as the sun goes down on, I have not terrorized anyone today. I have not been a terror to myself and or others. I have not invoked or imparted or created fear and distress. I have not maintained them. I have not reinforced it. I have not moved in it. Many of us, especially in a time of social media, we share so many, we're exposed to so much, and we share so much of what we're exposed to. Peace, all, hello, and welcome. We share so much of what we're exposed to, and we have to stop and like, am I invoking, am I imparting, am I engaging, am I exchanging fear and distress? Okay. So that's the first thing. Be careful about what you create because of the land you are created in, because of the times you are a child of the times. You are a product of the present, looking into yourself at a certain degree, looking into yourself in such a way that you can very clearly analyze, reflect, and say, I have not terrorized anyone. That while I live, every time I cut on the TV, every time I touch my phone, every time I turn on the radio, when I'm around others, while there is constant pressure about what I should believe, what I should think, who I should be, who I am, and what is it? Protecting myself, defending myself. We're talking about times of terror. When this is the way of being, this is the way of operating. Everything is about fighting for yourself and vocalizing and keeping yourself from being destroyed, exterminated, what is it called? Ostracized or just or being offended in some way. It is just terrorizing times. Okay, the time and space and energy in which we all exist in today, we have to be mindful that we cannot live in a tornado and not come out winded. You cannot live in a tornado and not come out winded. So for those of again that feel like we don't reflect terror, we don't exude terror, we do not project or create fear and distress, remember that this is the time. There's nowhere you can go within the times of the propaganda. There's nowhere you can go where it's not being pushed on you, shoved down your throat, or put or sugar topped, sweetened, and mischievously served to you. Okay, there is not that reality. And because there is not that reality, we all have to be real within ourselves, in our reflections, of being able to say, in my character, as I am growing her for the kings out there, as I am growing him, as I am creating and developing myself further, I have to be careful about what I am creating because I have to be mindful of what I've been created in. Many of us have time after time, especially if you're a parent, catch yourself. What is it? I think it's Geico. There's some insurance company that has a whole commercial about like, we can't stop you from becoming your parents. It's hilarious. Hilarious series of a hilarious series of commercials, but it's real, right? Ha ha ha. But it's real as far as like repeating cycles and becoming what you were exposed to, inadvertently or subconsciously, just projecting out what it is you're familiar with. And in these times of terror, it's terrible times, we are familiar with so much craziness. Some people call it desensitization. Some people call it, immune or numb. But we are familiar with, Ashe, we are familiar with progressive. Thank you, Matt. We are always familiar with, we are familiar with being in this day and time, chaos, dog eat dog, backbiting, the American way. Okay, we are familiar with it, and again, I can't even relegate it or limit it only to America. The immorality has just grown to these various degrees. And again, not to be pushing fear, not to be pushing frustration, but to be able to be honest about, hey, maybe I do need to look closer into what is going on inside of me as I am growing and recreating and transforming myself. I want to be made in a way that is different from the places that made me. And know that you can, again, create those cycles and stay in those patterns because of the times you were created in. So simply, when we think about terror and we immediately back ourselves up away from it, we immediately say, oh, no, 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 I'm not a terror. I have not created terror. I won't create terror. I don't do that. I want us to stop and think of the land of this land that you live, this land that you are a patron of, this land that you've been groomed and grown in, and how in every step of every way you have been influenced, indoctrinated, and somehow pressured by the ways of the world, right? And by the ways of the existence of things. So keeping that in mind as we continue to grow and navigate into better spaces of being. Do not be so quick to push out the fact that something's inside of you that needs to be pushed out. Do not be so quick, peace, hi, and welcome. Do not be so quick to push out that there are things and patterns a part of you that may still need to be pushed out, okay? We are open and receptive in this space. We are here because we are willing to grow, and we are here because we are willing to be what we were created to be, and we are going to be willing that into existence. So, careful about what you create, because we are in terrible times, and we have grown and been born and raised in terror territory. So, knowing that we've been grown and bred and moved into these certain types of ways, it's right here present, right? I don't need to go so far into it. You guys are a part of everyday life. You feel the pressure. You see it in every area of your life. You see it and you feel it. Even if it's not overcoming you, even if you're not overwhelmed by it, you are not blind to it. I know it, because it has been the way. It is the way of power. In this day and age, it is the way of prestige. It is the way of survival, because this is the way of this land, not of spirit, but of fear, not of fullness, but of emptiness, but of darkness and despair, and to grow like Freddy Krueger. You know how they always say Freddy, he feeds off your nightmares or your fears. I think it was Freddy, but there's a number of, I think, villains in horror movies where they say, they feed off your fear. This is the times, okay? This is the exact society that we live in. Feeding off of fears, feeding off your lack, then living off your desperation. And we want to grow, and not only do we not want to entertain terror, coming up on the heels of Halloween, by the way, not only do we entertain terror, but we will not enact it. It will not be alive and well inside of our hearts. It will not be a part of what we do as we are becoming and as we are creating. So here are the tools. These are some tools of which, for those people that are just like, I'm not a terrorist, I'm not going to terrorize nobody. I want us to be able to look into what the tools of terror are, how we get lost up in the process of terrorizing others and ourselves, and these things that come in so subtly, that continue to move in you and cause you to be the disruption in your own life and be a disruption in the lives of the loved ones that you have. You have parents out there that are causing distress and fear when it comes to their children, and the children being who they are, and their children actualizing, and they were proclaimed not to be a terrorist. There are brothers out there that are using and exploiting women, exploiting the desperation of the times, the brokenness of marriages and families, and taking that energy to morph it into something very exploitive and very harmful, very degrading, and they will proclaim not to be terrorists. There are sisters out there that are using and exploiting what they have and the gifts of their beauty in order to gain and get what they want, and they are falsely leading others on, or falsely projecting, or just infusing toxic negative energy into the field, into the frequency, in order, because they are hurt, because they are angry, and because they have their mind on things that they want, and they don't care who gets hurt in the process, and they will not proclaim themselves to be terrorists. The images that are being projected, the insecurities that are being born within the younger generations because of the discourse and the dysfunction that we can't get together. And we will again proclaim loudly and proudly that we are not terrorists. Those that are in places of power and positions of power in employment or work, vocations and services, that are using their power to exploit, hurt, harm others, that are taking more than their share, that are not being clear and concise, that are not being right and righteous in their ways. again will sit right here and they will proclaim that they are not terrorists. And that is why it became very important to me that I break down these three simple, there are many more, but I'm going to get some of the basic big ones, right? The big basic tools of terror so that we all can look clearly into self. Again, this is not about me checking you, you checking me, you checking your neighbor. This is about us being able to reflect and have the tools to look at self, look at character and say, am I who I say I am? Am I who I want to be? Am I where I need to be within self and connected to those connected to me? Okay? Tools of terror. The first one I have is control. I have control. I'm going to give you all three of them and then we'll break them down individually. I have control, I have chaos, and I have character. These are three big tools of terror, in which terror is born, in which terror is projected, actualized, and enacted upon. Okay? Control, chaos, and character. These are the places where many of us who will sit here and say, nope, I don't cause stress and fear in nobody, will overlook and neglect within self. First place is control. This is being fear focused. Many people are terrorizing other spirits, their peace of mind, their vision and ideals of self, their joy in life. Many people are projecting these types of terrors because of their control. They are focused on fear. They are focused on losing things. They are focused on being forgotten. They are focused on being ignored. They have extreme focus on not being good enough. And so they must control everything because they need to stay in front of everything because they're so afraid that if they're not in the front, they will easily be behind. They lack centeredness in where they are and who they are. And because they can't control the feelings and the thoughts within self, they must control the feelings and the thoughts with others because they feel like at the very least if they can know what you're doing and how you're doing it, and if they can make you do it, they can make their lives something that they don't feel they can actually manifest, something they can actually create, or something that they actually are. They are fear focused and they use control to terrorize on all walks of lives. Their mothers with their children, as good-hearted and well-intentioned as we are. There's a country song that I love. Y'all know I love my country music. That says, I believe most mothers all auto qualify for sainthood. I believe the average mama is a saint. Okay, she is a beautiful and wonderful person. She has sacrificed her life, not only in carrying life, but even in sustaining it. But as well-intentioned as we are we pushing distress and fear onto our families and our children because of the traumas of our times? Are we pushing because we feel like we can't move or do or have or create? So we know that chaos or control is something we can easily put in. We're dropping critiques. We're dropping, what is it, discriminatory or dysfunctional language. We're giving inconsistency. We're blanketing our parenting skills in what we didn't have. We've come from places of lack in order to get what we want. And instead of coming from a place of overflow in order to create what we need. We have done that, and I'm not giving that only to mothers. I'm saying parents are doing it overall, but I want to be specific about us looking into our very own situations for being fear focused and using control as a mirror or a method of terror. I didn't put together terror and method, okay? As a method of terror, controlling those that are abused in abusive relationships, be it physical or not. Okay, being gaslighted, being lied to, being manipulated, being exploited is just as hurtful, just as degrading, just as painful as being straight squared up on. Okay? But again, because of what you feel you lack. So now you got to get out here and control these. I don't know if I can use the word I was going to use. Okay, it was a bit crass on YouTube, but it rhymes with control. Okay, but get out here and control these women. Control the situation. What they can and can't do and say. How much of yourself you're willing to give or be vulnerable. Playing fisherman with people. Giving breadcrumbing. This is control. You're fear focused. If anyone sees who you really are, if anyone knows what you really think, if you were your true self, would you have the things that you need? Would you be taken advantage of? Would you be in the front seat so afraid to be left behind? So you are intentional and aggressive about being in the front no matter what it costs, no matter who it harms. You are using control as a tool of terror. You are lying to people. You are manipulating. You are hurting. You are not being consistent. You are not keeping promises. My brother, you are a terror. Okay? You are a spiritual terrorist. Okay? And in this regard, our answers have said, and in many regards, listen, the examples could go on and on. I only use the male and the female, but like I said, we could use boss, we could use parents, we can use the medical field. I mean, the spiritual terrorism is at all-time high. And our ancestors are saying it would behoove you, okay? It would be better for your spirit and lighter for your heart if you were to declare to yourself and work hard on yourself to not be a terrorizer, to not be a spiritual antagonizer and a spiritual terrorist. If you are just not going out of your way because of the way you feel to make someone feel that way, that if you are not so stuck in the misery and so busy trying to get company for it, then oh my gosh, will your light be brighter and will your magnet be stronger for what you pull in greater? So first two is control. We are fear-focused. They're fear-focused individuals. Someone going to do something to them. Something bad is going to happen to them. Nobody going to like them for who they are. This is a sucker born every day and all of that, okay? Fear-focused. They use control as a terror mechanism. Now, the next one is chaos. The next type of individual that uses chaos as a tool of terror is a lost or losing individual. Someone who is completely lost within their spiritual compass, someone who is, or their spiritual map, nowadays GPS, someone who doesn't know who they are, whose they are, where they belong, where they fit in, what they should be doing, where they should be going, just lost in the sauce. They are lost within themselves or they are losing themselves. They have lost so much of who they are. They have lost so much of what they believe in. They have lost their footing. They have lost their way. They are losing things and therefore they are out of control. They lack balance. They lack centeredness. Because again, life has shaken and they have lost grip. All of you and all of us should know that as life shakes, we hold on tighter. You hold on tighter to your beliefs. You hold on tighter to your sense of self. You hold on tighter to your values. But there are people who, when life shook, when they were children, when life shook in their adolescence, as life is shaking now, they are losing and losing and losing and have lost and have lost and have lost. And now they perpetuate terror via chaos. They're using chaos as a tool for terror. And again, I'm breaking these tools down for everyone that feels like they're so far away from terrorizing. I don't terrorize nobody. I heal. I create. I build. I protect. Many of us would say and feel this way. This is what we do. We out here in our bags. We not in our feelings. Isn't that what we're saying today? It's a lot of people in their feelings. A lot of people in low vibration There's a lot of us operating in lack and despair, depression and desperation, and we are not willing to admit or focus on or reflect the terror within self that we have projected onto others. Those that are lost and losing use chaos as a tool of terror. Those that don't know who they are upset that you know who you are. Those that have lost things that they think made them, loved ones that have transitioned, jobs or dreams that are no longer. They thought that they were these things. They were externally attached and anchored. And that now that these things were shaken, broken, or missing, so are they. So are they. And in an attempt to not be the only ones, an attempt to cover up, to mask, to survive, they now project chaos at work, chaos at home, chaos in the dating pool, chaos in the schools, chaos in the hospitals. They are now projecting chaos because they have lost something or they are losing something. And in order to keep that covered, in order to not be alone in it, in order to not be exposed in it, they are going to project chaos, terror. They're terrorizing your life with it. Oh, if I was you, I wouldn't do that. Oh, you know what they're saying? You shouldn't even, don't even. Chaos. Keeping you from saving your family, chaos. Keeping you from being healthier, living a healthier lifestyle, chaos. Keeping you from being true and firm in who you are, having confidence in your greatness, chaos. Keeping you from following your dreams, trying new things, being bold and brave and courageous, chaos. I don't even know why. Well, why should you? Don't you know you can't? Well, if you look at it like this, well, if they are lost, they are losing. And the work that it would take for them to find themselves would make them more vulnerable. The work that it would take for them to find themselves would make them more available to what they are most afraid of. Flying, becoming, growing, detaching from excuses, detaching from failure, terrified. They're terrified. And because it is terrifying for them to even think about operating like that, they want to terrify you. They create terror within your interactions and your environments. So you are moved away from your principles and your purpose. So you are moved away from your security and your confidence, your stability and self, your vision and your risks and your courage to be greater every day, to get back up and fight back and get back on your feet and do it again tomorrow. Well, if they feel like they have lost so much, there is no doing it again for them. Why do they want you to do it again tomorrow? Chaos. And they will use chaos as a tool. And the next person that tries to bring an ounce of chaos, yesterday, they lukewarm, they hot and cold. The next person can't keep a promise, can't stay focused, won't be straight, got you feeling confused, got you feeling outside of yourself. The next person that attempts to bring chaos into your energy, you are lost and you are losing. And I am determined. I am bound for greatness. I know self. I have self. I will continue to grow this beautiful, incredible blessing of a vessel that I have been given, called self. And so as you continue to try to use the chaos as a tool of terror in my life, I am going to, what did the sister say in the video? I rebuke you. She said it and he shot her down shot her down in the video, shot her in the face because she said, I rebuke you. Listen, it's people out there, they don't have a gun at work. They don't have a gun in your DMs. They don't have a gun in your brotherhood or your sister circle. They don't have a gun, out at the family dinner coming up in Thanksgiving or Christmas. Somebody might not shoot you in the face, but they came armed with chaos, is what I'm trying to tell you. They came armed with chaos to terrorize you, to be a spiritual terrorist. And they want to induct you. They want to include you. They want to provoke you. They want to move you into the circle of terror in terrible territory. And I ask us to say, I have not terrorized anyone. You're not going to move me from the center of self and be all out into the external like you, because you lost. What they say in the scary mirror, you in the further. You out in the further. You can't get back. And because you can't get back, you want me to come out there with you. Come back to the middle. NDIRE, come back to the middle, boo-boo. So, control chaos. The third one, right? The third tool of terror that people will use to enact terror in your life, to create and maintain fear and distress in your life, or that you may even be guilty of using towards others, that you are going to reflect and reform on today, is character. Control, chaos, character. Listen, people outside my window, I don't know if y'all can hear them. Somebody's out there arguing right now outside in this beautiful sunshiny Saturday in public. Okay? That's what I'm talking about terrible territory, about terrible times, lacking class, lacking dignity, lacking sanctity, lacking family, lacking unity, lacking maturity, the ability to resolve issues in an appropriate manner, in a regal manner, in a matter of justice and community. Child, okay? So the last one I had was character. Whew, okay, this is a big one, okay? Because this is a big one. I see you laughing. Have all the mercy, okay? So, character. One big reason this character is this character is a big one, okay? Because many people will say, I'm not controlling. I don't want to control nobody. Many people would say, chaos, chaos. I don't want to be in the chaos. I try hard to stay away from it. But this character piece is at the basis of all of our meiotic moments. This is why we are going diligently and intentionally through the 42 laws, because that character piece is a major tool of terrorizing others, a major conduit for bringing in and exchanging terrible behavior, ideas, energy, and realities for yourself and for others. That character, becoming what you came into. This is how the character is used as a tool of terror. Becoming what you came into. We talked about that again with the progressive commercial. Thank you, Matt. We talked about that earlier, right? This society, this mindset, this family, this energy that you were born in, that you were raised in, that you learned to be a part of, that you, shout out to Unbroken Reading Circle. That's my reading circle. The ladies are always on. Love and light to you all. We talked a lot about, Jada Pinkett's story. She talks about being born and raised in Baltimore City, and she talks about the University of Baltimore. And how even through Hollywood and even in her marriage and even with her children, this University of Baltimore, you can take the girl out you know what I'm saying? You can take the girl out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the girl. Okay? This is what we're talking about becoming what you came into. And how not checking that, how not growing that, how not transforming that, how not recreating that, how not standing guard over that. Shout out to the dog. How not standing guard over that becomes a major character flaw within self that enacts and invokes and creates terror for others, creates and maintains fear and distress for others, becoming what you came into. You came into a hostile environment. You're walking around hostile. You came into a society of fear and oppression. You became fearful and oppressive. What they say, scary. You came into a society of a lack of confidence, telling you that you're not nothing, telling you can't have anything, telling you that you won't be anything. And you have become in character lack. You have a disparity, a deficiency in your character that you have not filled and been intentional about, and your character has become a tool of terror for all that are connected to you. Your lack of self-esteem, your lack of security, your ability and desire to engage in low vibrational, intoxicating activities, things that toxify your spirit and your mind. You are content with not being clear. You are content with not being present. You are content with not winning. You are content with not working hard and not growing. And you are being a toxin to all connected to you, because your character is that of what you came into. Your character is that of the terrible times. You lack dignity. You lack fairness. It's small things. I'm going to take this bag. I'm not going to pay for this bag at the grocery store. Or I took something and I'm not going to go take it back. I didn't know that I had it. I didn't know if I paid for it. I tell my children all the time, I didn't know you had that candy. We got to go back in the Giants. Mom, they don't even know. I know. The Creator knows. This is your character we're talking about. And we come into a society of a compromising of character. Your character can be bought. This is capitalism at its finest. Your character can be bought. Your spirit can be bought. Your dignity can be bought here. Bought and sold, just like our ancestors on the auction block. Can be bought here. Can be traded here. Can be sold here. Be careful that your character has not become what you came into. Be careful that your character has not become that you came into. You got dragged kicking and screaming to this place, and now you are content in the dysfunction. You are kicking and screaming in the dysfunction of it, and the taking away of your tongue and your way of and your character and your beingness, and now you laugh in it. It is entertainment to be less than, to have lack of, to not put spirit and humanity first, to not put divinity and light above all. That is not your way. It's not your way. That is not your way. Other people's ways have gotten in your way, and you have allowed this to settle into your character and become who you are. And now you are a terror, because women are looking to men to be men. We don't find it. Men are looking to women to be women, and they don't find it. Children are looking to adults to be adults. They aren't finding that. Adults are looking to children to be children. We aren't finding that. The youth are looking to the elders to be elders, wise and willing. We aren't finding that. The elders are looking for the youth to be the youth, the next generation, the up and coming, responsible, regal, ready. They are not finding that. We have become what we came into, and our characters are now tools of terror for ourselves and for others. Our characters have become tools of terror. When our ancestors put forth this law, I have not terrorized anyone. Where they want us to go, where they want us to be, who they know we truly are, is for us to be a centered people, a centered thought, of supreme actualization and execution of self. Those of life and nature and dignity, those that are in harmony with the world, harmony with the universe, harmony with nature, not polluting, not destroying, not tearing down, not sitting on top of like you on a throne of the world, but to be humble and pure within self. Yes, I know the work we're talking about because I know the society we live in. I know the tall glass of water that I'm asking for because I know the mud we've been drinking. The Kool-Aid, actually. What our ancestors are asking for in this law is for us to transform the terror of the times. Transform the terror of the trails, the history of time. Transform these things that were, that have created this time that is, and have ourselves to be centered in truth and not trauma. If we want to grow out of terrible times, we want to grow away from being terrible humans, spiritual terrorists, we need to be 1000% intentional, unwavering, and centering ourselves in the truth, right? Unwavering and centering ourselves in the truth. We will continuously get to the point in the place where we feel like we're going to be lost and use chaos. We're going to be fear focused and use control. We're going to be broken by the ways of the world and be broken down in character because we'll continue to live in lies that we can't, that we aren't, that we won't, that we weren't intended. We'll live in the lies of the fear that is being projected to us. We'll be pushed in the directions as herds that is continuously pushing us, that have been pushing us for forever. To be afraid, to be angry, to feel overwhelmed, to feel defeated. These energies are not small energies to be feeling, to be operating in, to be having pressed upon your spirit. Be centered in the truth that you are light at the end of the day. Be centered in the truth that you are amazing, that you came here to do amazing things, that you are beautiful and wonderful. I was processing an application of an applicant the other day, and at the race, they asked her race, and she said human. Now, some of my coworkers thought that was funny. Like, why are you going to do that? That's so extra. I thought it was amazing that she put human in the race when they asked her race. My thing is, light is at the front. Light is at the top. I'm not saying that we don't be proud, that we're not loud and proud about who we are. I'm saying, are we centered in the focus of the truth? In that I am a being of light. That I am a being of greatness, so that I came here to project light and greatness. And all the junk, like an impacted tooth, like damage at the root, all the junk that's under has to come out so that I am not foul in beingness. I am not distasteful in representation. That I am not, slave-minded as far as doing what is I am being told to do and say what I am being told to say and robotic and go this direction and do this. I am light and I operate in light and I bring about change by changing myself. And I bring about healing by healing myself. And I bring about growth by growing myself. And then I exude this appropriate energy, Mayad, out into the world. And I do the necessary things the right way. Sounds simple, I know. Sounds simple. But I am centered in truth and not trauma. Those things that were done to me, those things that were said to me, those things that took me off my square, those things that took me out my lane, those things that destroyed my dreams, those things that attempted to break me in half. I am centered in the truth that was taken or attempted to be taken from me, that I transform terror by being centered in truth and not in trauma. I have not terrorized anyone. Now, I'm not going to say people ain't been bitter about my growth and my development, but I have not been a spiritual terrorist. I have been my absolute best at every moment that I could be, and I am growing to be even better than that at every moment that I can be. I have not terrorized anyone. I will not terrorize anyone, especially myself. I love you all so much. This moment is going over just a little bit. I thank you all so much for joining me for this moment of harmony. I look forward to seeing you next week. Same place, same time, new moment, and continue to grow in love, light, and liberation. Now, with this beautiful weekend that is upon us and all this crazy energy of last week and the week before that is behind us as of today, we are going to go on out into this space and take really good care of ourselves. Really, really good care of ourselves. And then we're going to go on out of our way to take really good care of someone else because that is our way. I love you all so very much. Have a wonderful weekend. If I can get my words together, have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week for another moment of harmony. Until next week, peace, King.